Donald Trump indicted. It is the big story tonight. The former president expected to surrender early next week after a vote from the grand jury stemming from alleged hush money payments to an adult film actress. We do have team coverage for you tonight as Trump becomes the first former president in U.S. history to face criminal charges. Supporters and protesters already taking to the streets.
Ashley Holden is getting legal perspective for us, but we start with Faye Fredericks tracking the latest on this indictment. Faye.
Supporters of the former president calling this case legal voodoo, while critics argue it's justice in action. Donald Trump will be arraigned in New York Tuesday. Right now, it's unclear exactly what he's being charged with because the indictment is sealed until that arraignment happens. While Trump supporters rally outside his Florida estate, the former president's plane waits to take him to New York. The investigation by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is believed to revolve around a hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election and accusations it violated campaign finance laws. Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen, who testified before the grand jury, saying in part, "I do take solace in validating the adage that no one is above the law." Cohen says he wrote the check to Daniels at Trump's direction. Cohen was convicted in part for that payment and lying to Congress. An attorney for Daniels releasing a statement saying the hard work and conscientiousness of the grand jurors must be respected. Now let the truth and justice prevail. Attorney Bob Costello, meanwhile, who says he once advised Cohen, also testified before the grand jurors in defense of Trump.
If they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence.
The former president speaking to ABC by phone following the indictment, calling this an attack on our country and political persecution.
From the beginning, it's been one witch hunt and phony investigation after another.
His lawyers now vowing to fight the indictment as some question the legal theory underlying the case. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy saying the Manhattan DA weaponized our sacred system of justice against President Donald Trump. The American people will not tolerate this injustice, and the House of Representatives will hold Alvin Bragg and his unprecedented abuse of power to account. Now, earlier this month, the former president called his arrest imminent and urged his supporters to protest. New York police are now on high alert, but so far it is peaceful tonight outside that New York courthouse. Javier?
Thank you, Faye. We have more reaction right now at 10 on both sides of the aisle. New tonight, Arizona Republican Congresswoman Debbie Lesko issued a statement saying in part, quote, the New York DA should concentrate on reducing crime in his own city instead of going on a political witch hunt after Trump. Arizona Democratic Senator Mark Kelly also reacted tonight, saying, quote, we're a country of laws and nobody is above the law. The former president has constitutional rights and presumption of innocence as any other American does.
And as we hear from lawmakers, we're also speaking with members of the community about this high-profile indictment. Ashley Holden reporting tonight from Phoenix, also getting legal perspective on what happens next.
I think it's ridiculous. Leave Trump alone.
I think he's finally getting his comeuppance for all of his crazy things.
Arizonans have their own opinions, but this case is now starting to move through the legal process.
What would you tell people as they're hearing this news today?
Don't jump to conclusions.
That's the basic advice from the two local criminal defense attorneys I spoke with Thursday.
What we're dealing with is an indictment from a grand jury. Indictments always come out sealed, and it hasn't been unsealed. What I'm understanding now is we may be looking at as many as 30 counts of some type of business fraud, could also have some type of campaign financing law violations in there as well. We just don't know yet.
Both believe, like many, former President Trump should be able to self-surrender, and the next step would be an arraignment.
The actual process will probably be pretty straightforward. He will be read his charges, read his constitutional rights. They'll enter not guilty pleas, and they'll address release conditions. So from the procedural aspect, it should be pretty straightforward. But from the spectacle of it, it's going to be so much different.
If the case makes it to trial, jury selection would also be unprecedented.
During jury selection process, can attorneys for both sides ask potential jurors who they voted for.
Here, considering the fact that it is President Trump specifically on trial, that may be a valid question. Whether a judge in New York agrees with me, that's a different story.
Thursday's developments come with little information. So across the country, supporters and critics will have to wait.
I think something that people have been saying a lot, and we continue to hear from people who like Donald Trump or not, they have this idea that this is a weak case.
It's impossible to tell. Nobody should be saying this is a weak case because we don't even know what the charges are yet, let alone the evidence supporting those charges.
Charges we are expected to learn Tuesday. No matter what happens, the entire country will be watching closely. In Phoenix, Ashley Holden, ABC 15, Arizona.